Hi, my name is Kennedy Kale, and I will be summarizing the career of Franklin D. Roosevelt while also outlining his significance to American history. Franklin D. Roosevelt was born on January 30th, 1882 in Hyde Park, New York, and was elected president in November of 1932. He served a record 4 terms, indicating his popularity with American citizens. Throughout his time as president, he had numerous accomplishments and overcame countless obstacles. 3 of his accomplishments stick out from the rest, achievements that provide evidence on the underlying significance of Franklin D. Roosevelt. His battle with the Great Depression, contributions in World War II, and his transformation of American presidency puts Roosevelt's existence in a class of its own. In October 1929, the stock market famously crashed, causing millions of investors to lose money. As a result, businesses closed down, citizens lost jobs, and unemployment was written all over the street. Labeled as the Great Depression, it was the biggest American crisis since the Civil War, as the unemployment rate rose to 13 to 15 million. However, 1932 was the start of hope and optimism, by way of Democrat Franklin D. Roosevelt being elected as the 32nd President of the United States. FDR had charisma, an upbeat attitude, and a positive personality, 3 perfect attributes for a leader. In Roosevelt's first 100 days, he established the New Deal, a deal designed to deliver the 3 R's: recovery, relief, and reform. New agencies were created, such as the CCT, and the population benefited greatly from the new system. While the New Deal provided short-term success, it had failed to sustain over the years. It wasn't until America's involvement in World War II, where heavy mobilization ended the Great Depression and employed millions of Americans. Even though the New Deal wasn't a major success, FDR's leadership through difficult times is clear evidence that he was a significant figure. Franklin D. Roosevelt has his fingerprints all over America's involvement in World War II, as his guidance was detrimental in America's victories. Germany's invasion of Poland in 1932 started World War II and tested Roosevelt's leadership, and while America generally stayed neutral, FDR was adamant in providing aid for the Allies. However, World War II was in full swing when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, actions that were subsequently followed by Italy and Germany's war declarations. Consumed with major pressure, FDR was praised for overcoming adversity, as his leadership and involvement with the American military was significant in the eventual surrender of the Axis powers. Roosevelt took an active role in choosing the principal field commanders while also making decisions regarding wartime strategy. His strategic and heroic guidance is evident through the re-owned D-Day invasions, where over 150,000 soldiers, sailors, and airmen stormed the beaches of Normandy. Labeled as the beginning of the end of World War II, the firepower from the Americans overwhelmed Nazi Germany, leading to the liberation of northern France and the ensuing defeat of Germany. While Roosevelt wasn't alive to witness America's revenge over the Japanese, his contributions can be understood through his commandment of the Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project was responsible for Japan's surrender, as the atomic bomb severely crippled the nation. Roosevelt's significance regarding the war doesn't stop there. FDR realized the violent warfare and conflict between countries had to be resolved, as there were lessons learned from World War I and World War II. Subsequently, Roosevelt was heavily involved in the creation of the United Nations, a peacekeeping organization that promotes international cooperation. The United Nations is an organization that is still relevant today and continues to endorse unity of countries. Due to his accomplishments in the war, Franklin D. Roosevelt was tremendously significant in his existence and in American history. While FDR is decorated with accomplishments that testify his greatness, it is how he transformed American presidency that further cements his legacy. Through his fiery speeches and confident statements, FDR exhibited personal attributes that no other American president has displayed before. His legendary infamy speech, where he brought the U.S. in World War II, is evidence of this. Roosevelt built a strong bond with the American citizens and had a father-like presence that Americans trusted. His use of the radio was revolutionary, as he used radio as a method to reach the American audience and inform them on important procedures. This technique of using technology as an aid influenced future President John F. Kennedy to do the same, but with television. Not only did he reshape the image of the American president, but his influence on American presidency can be seen through his work ethic due to his passion for the nation. FDR assembled a large White House staff that succeeded what previous presidents were constructing. Roosevelt and his team tackled the domestic and foreign policies with great precision and success, prompting his successors to do the same. In sum, Roosevelt continues to have an underrated influence on the American president requirements, while also reshaping the image of the American president. In retrospect, Franklin D. Roosevelt visibly has an everlasting legacy on America. His defeats over the Great Depression and the Axis powers, while forever changing the image of the American president, is clear evidence that FDR was significant during his lifetime. Franklin D. Roosevelt is certainly not the only accomplished American president, as presidents such as George Washington and Abraham Lincoln have a case for being the most significant president in American history. However, there is a factor in FDR's tenure that stands out from the rest. Roosevelt was able to bring light in an otherwise dark era, providing Americans with constant hope when hope was nowhere to be found. Because of this, Franklin D. Roosevelt should be considered as the most significant president in American history, as he provided Americans with a light that should have never been out in the first place, and that light is hope. My name is Kennedy Kale, and thank you for watching my history presentation on Franklin D. Roosevelt.